Fratelloni's Hardware and Garden Stores brings you Garage Logic Podcast number 978, December 9th, 2022. 58 degrees on this day in 1939, and that concludes a 4-day warm stretch in 1939 that must have just been delightful. 27 below on this day in 1876, and I don't remember this, but on this day,
Yep.
in 2012, not that long ago, we had 10.5 inches of snow.
Fratelloni's where you can get a nice poinsettia.
And now,
Probably
from the
can.
mayor's office above
They
the
got a lot of
boathouse
plant life
on the
there.
east shore of Spoon Lake, it's Garage
Look, I
Logic
don't need to see
with
it.
Chris Reavers manning Technology Corner, Kenny Olson from the Krabby Coffee Shop, John Haidt in the newsroom, and of course, the Rookie. Here is your flashlight king, fireworks commissioner, and the keeper of common sense, your mayor, Joe Souchere.
Just wondering, I think Scooty sent us a piece about this too.
I've got it right here. I
Just
printed it.
wondering, you were saying the electric vehicle trucks weigh much more than the trucks out there now. So how do you think the roads are going to hold up? They're bad now. That's a good point. None of this has been thought out by adults. None of this.
You sure?
Well, and the key ingredient to asphalt is oil.
That's right.
The piece that Mike sent over had to, it was concerning hauling these vehicles. These semis that haul cars.
Yeah.
You won't be able to haul as many
No.
because of the weight.
All right, let me get to my theory that I came across yesterday.
Yeah.
Let me read a letter or an email from Bert. I don't know what your upcoming dire theory will be regarding criminal equity in the shooting of the miscreant in St. Paul, but I do have a question. Why do the people involved in these incidents scream for body camera footage? They will only be satisfied with footage that pleases them, so why does it matter? There is much gnashing of teeth and rending of garments regardless of what the camera says. If it shows the situation was handled well by officers, then it's called doctored footage, followed by protests. If it shows the situation was handled improperly, it's riot time. Well, he's on to some of my theory. This theory is based on this recent shooting of a criminal in St. Paul by the police. Police responded to calls of a domestic violence situation, and they came across a young man named Howard Johnson and shot him, and he died. He was in the act of attempting to carjack a car at that point, but he drew a gun on them.
Right.
And the body camera shows that gun was fired at the police.
Okay.
That is not good enough for the family.
Of course not.
And I'm sorry for your loss. The family says, well, we want the full unedited audio, which makes the presumption that they were shown edited audio. I'm not sure that's even the case. They were shown the body cam.
Right.
I'm sorry, video, not audio. Police responded just after 6 p.m. Monday to reports of a domestic assault near Earl Street and Hudson Road, right over there in Mounds Park. Mm-hmm. After the caller reported that a man, later identified as Johnson, was armed. Soon after, a woman, let me turn the page.
You wanted the jump?
I am. This is from yesterday's paper, but I kept it. There's more up-to-date stuff today. After a woman not connected to the alleged assault was leaving a business on Hudson Road and got into her car. The woman told BCA agents that Johnson approached the car and pointed a gun at her as she was pulling out.
Okay.
Now remember, the coppers are arriving to answer a domestic
Disturbance.
Right.
abuse call, and in the interim, he has moved on to an attempted carjacking. Blanchon is the officer, and another St. Paul officer were parked in a squad car nearby, serving as part of a perimeter to the domestic assault call. Surveillance video showed Blanchon, who was driving the squad, strike Johnson in the back and side with the vehicle, knocking him to the ground. Not at speed, by the way. It was just, can I do anything here before I have to use a gun?
Right.
Johnson got up, which tells you he was not hit
Right.
severely. Johnson got up, and the video appears to show an exchange of gunfire between him and Blanchard, during which Johnson was struck, the BCA said in a news conference. He fell to the ground, dropping his gun, before officers handcuffed him and provided aid for wounds to his leg and torso. He was pronounced dead at Regents Hospital. You can all do your own reading of the accounts, and the news channels last night had the video, which I watched a couple of times. It certainly seemed clear to me that the police were in danger. But the family, it's almost a set of things you say.
There's a template.
There's
they're
almost
following.
a template that you say. He was a wonderful guy. He was kind. He had twins.
To the point where I was going to say the twin boys were brought out for a photo op in front of the
He loved
scene.
his family.
Well, then they go to the
et cetera.
Facebook too, where it's all friendly barbecue or get-togethers.
Same thing was done with Dante Wright, and it's part of the template. It's the agenda that this young man could not possibly be worthy of getting shot by the police, and the police must be wrong. Okay, here's my theory. We have encountered numerous times, and just this week, in fact, a radicalized teacher in Oroville, California, who doesn't want to teach English because she thinks it's merely a white construct, that it was invented as a means of, or it was invented as a result of white supremacy. And we've seen that in other failed academy situations. In fact, we've seen this most principally in the failed academy, where we're getting the message that achievement in and of itself is thought to be a white construct. 2 + 2 is not necessarily 4.
Who invented that?
Because 2 + 2 equals 4 is a white construct. Unfortunately, it stands to reason, and it's already shifted that way, but it stands to reason this kind of radicalized ideology is going to also encompass behavior.
And it already had. Yeah, you're right. Absolutely.
Behavior,
Yes.
and that the law is in and of itself a white construct, an example of white supremacy.
Subject to interpretation. Absolutely.
Subject to interpretation. And why should it be determined that a young black male with a gun is breaking a law? What law? That was a law written by white people. That's not a reasonable law. It was written by white people. And in my radicalized ideology, I contend that he is not capable of committing any crime. There is no crime committed, because that's just a crime that you people think is a crime. And so if he wants to hijack a car with a woman in it, that's just a cultural affectation. That has nothing to do with breaking the law, because in my radicalized view of the world, the laws were written by white people.
You know, years ago, that would be so outrageous that you would be saying that. But right now, that is the path. That's the path we're on.
You're already seeing it. Defund the police movements.
Right.
Lax district attorneys. No bail programs. You're already seeing it. And it could very well get to the point, it's not yet, but look at the...
Less discipline in schools if you are a black male or female.
And I'm not suggesting police should not have to go through these accountability rituals. Of course they should. But look at what must be done by the police, who are getting really no help from their mayor in this case. He's only grudgingly said, well, he's not grudgingly. You have to go through these accountability steps, as well you should. But it's a process weighted, W-E-I-G-H-T-E-D. It's weighted in favor of the criminal.
Right.
The criminal is presumed innocent, even with evidence of the criminal shooting at the police. So how long before that won't be a crime?
Well, I was trying
And
to.
therefore, why even have police?
I was trying to find a news story that was submitted to us, but basically there is a group, and their entire motive is getting rid of the prison system in this state.
Well, of course.
And in this country.
Yeah.
And it's growing, which is frightening in itself.
So that was my theory. My theory is the same kind of radicalized nonsense that where we see these failed academy graduates refusing to teach English because they think it's a trick. They think it's tricked up. They think the rules are arbitrary and whimsical. You shouldn't have to have a thesis. You shouldn't have to have an outline. Some white guy invented that. So turn in any piece of slop you want, and that's going to be good enough. Well, it isn't good enough, but it's good enough if you have this radicalized ideology, which you became imbued in the failed academy, which is doing a wonderful job of completely ruining this country.
Take it down.
It's
brick by brick.
completely ruining this country.
One city at a time.
And I don't care if it's an expensive private school or an inexpensive public school. The failed academy is at the root of ruining this country. And they will be held. They won't even be held responsible. They have trained and graduated so many foot soldiers that there are plenty of them to fill these rapidly developing made-up jobs, which basically exist to contest the history, traditions, and convention of this country. And among those histories, traditions, and conventions would be crimes are bad and people who commit them, regardless of their race, are criminals. That's on the way out. That is on the way out.
How can we live in? How are we going to be able to live in society then?
You can't. That will cause the breakdown of society,
Well, look at
which the mystery might very
How
well
do they
want.
not see that?
And enrollment is down everywhere.
How do they
across
not
the board.
see that?
And
How, Joe? How do they not see that?
They being,
the people proposing this and
in the
people in
field.
favor of it.
Progressives.
Yeah.
how can the English teacher not see that she's full of nonsense?
Yeah, and all the failed academy. Yeah, all of it. How do they
Not
not see
Because
realizing-
it's the only thing they did during their 4 years at the failed academy.
And when a crime falls on them, when wrong is done to them, why do they then call the police and demand action?
Not only do they call the police, they blame the police. We've seen that happen numerous times.
Well, you mean in this case, how they specifically were in trouble, so they called the police for the disturbance?
Well,
at
it's
the-
a new theory. I don't have it fully fleshed out yet, but I can't help but think as you walk down the service road of life that this becomes inevitable to come to this conclusion. The template is already placed for a black family in America for how to react when a child, however unfortunately and tragically, is killed in the line of committing criminal acts. The template is there. How could this be? I'm surprised this Crump fellow hasn't flown to town for the lawsuit.
Yeah, true.
And all you're getting is, but he was a great guy. No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't. The path he was on, unfortunately, led him to be on this street in the middle of darkness on a cold winter night. And after a domestic assault call, he then apparently either completed the domestic assault, we don't know about that, or abandoned it, and then came outside and saw a chance to hijack a car. Well, the road he was on led him to that point, but we're supposed to think that the road he was on was a perfectly acceptable, normal road, and that he should not be held in judgment for his actions.
Right. He made that decision. He crossed that line. You got to pay the ferryman.
And the police keep getting pushed, and the police need to be accountable, and they are being accountable. In this case, they're hustling to get the videotape to the public and to the family, and the family continues to say that's not good enough. Well, the only thing that would be good enough is if they saw a videotape where their son and brother and relative did not have a gun, which unfortunately is not the case. Unfortunately for them.
Right. And well, now if they're saying we want an unedited version, I know that they didn't fully release everything because they said it was very graphic. I don't know if that has changed from the St. Paul Police
And the
Department.
shells found in the street match the criminal gun as well as the police gun.
Well, can't we just call it what it is in terms of what the family's after?
Money.
Come on. I mean, who's dumb enough to believe anything otherwise?
I'm sorry this guy died.
Of course we all are.
I'm sorry he was.
I'm sorry he
found him.
chose that path.
And this isn't the only example that, sadly, that we've seen is these families are looking at this as a payday.
Why are you sorry he died?
Well, it's always a tragic event for a family. I can understand that.
But Kenny
and I'm
makes a
equally
point.
sorry that the police have to be put through this when they legitimately are trying to protect the public. And let's not have me drift too far from the theory. The theory being that products of the failed academy are successfully ruining this country to the point where I think the act of committing a crime is very high on their agenda to insist that crimes do not exist because they came about because of patriarchy and the founding fathers and people desiring to have law and order. And that was only because they were white.
Remember a few months ago, when the young man was shot and killed by Minneapolis police? And there was this hue and cry in the
Which
streets.
case? My God, there's been so many.
You'll remember this instantly when I give you the specifics. And there was this hue and cry, and all these protesters, mostly of which were white virtue signalers, and they were out in the streets. And the woman who this young man was shooting at said, "He was trying to kill me."
Right.
And you're here protesting him being shot by police.
Well, part of this, and I haven't really figured out a way to plug this in smoothly, is that life itself has taken a big hit. The value of life has taken a big hit.
Absolutely.
So it wouldn't have impressed the virtue signaling white protesters that a woman was getting shot at. Oh, I remember. It was in the apartment.
Yes.
Yeah. And
their comeback was, well, at least you weren't shot. Well,
the sacredness of life has taken a giant hit in this country, maybe all over the world. So that's my theory. So
Okay.
there you are.
Great.
Well, I'm going to go to the dinner party. While I still
I
can.
think I'm going to go buy some flowers.
Let's talk
Oh,
about.
my God.
I have one journalism question about you in regards to today's Star Tribune piece, where they use the word apparently and what appears.
Yeah.
He was shot and killed by a St. Paul police sergeant. The footage shows him apparently pointing a gun at the direction of the firing. The next paragraph starts, the video from Sergeant Cody Blanchin's body-worn camera shows a muzzle flash from the handgun held by Johnson. So in the previous paragraph, apparently pointing a gun, and then in the next paragraph, they say muzzle flashes from the gun. And then later in the story, although the clip is brief, dark, and blurry, the video shows what appears to be a gun in Johnson's right hand. Why do they use that verbiage?
They're
Joe?
protecting their agenda. They are complicit. Generally speaking, news gatherers are not what they were 30 years ago, 40 years ago. They are complicit in bringing about this ideology of innocence, even on the part of criminals.
Well,
so they're hedging their bets with words like appears to be and apparently.
But it's also misleading the public at the same time.
To me, it's very misleading,
Yeah.
and it's lying, where in one paragraph they say apparently pointing a gun, and the next paragraph they say muzzle flashes from the handgun held by Johnson. I don't understand their motives here. Is this just bad writing, bad editing? I can't believe the editor would be that bad.
The editor is as complicit as the reporters. They are protecting an agenda. The agenda is, however unwritten, however unconsciously adopted by the news-gathering class, the news-gathering class is sworn to protect political identities, among them black people.
One of the writers was Walsh.
I know.
He's a pretty good writer.
Yep.
I don't understand why he'd allow that.
Reavers, I forwarded you an email from, I want you to find it,
Okay.
about a sheriff in Florida.
Oh, yes. You
It's-
want that
it's-
right now?
Yeah, it's not that long, and it's germane to what we're talking about. And then give me the name of the county. The sheriff's name is Bob Johnson.
All right.
And the name of the county is...
I can't
You
read
could
the
read it on
badge
the
from
sign
here.
there.
Give me 1 second. Santa. Oh, the caption cuts out.
Santa Carlos County, I think.
Okay. Bob Johnson's Sheriff's Office. You want that right now, sir?
Yeah.
We're going to talk about an incident that occurred yesterday in the Santa Villa subdivision in Pace. And it involves, if you can put him up, Mr. Brandon Harris, who you hear me talk about frequent flyers all the time. Our first interaction with this individual came when he was 13 years old. Since then, he's had like 17 arrests. He got out of prison. We sent him to prison for 6.5 years for home invasion. So one of the homeowners, he was breaking into their house, and they shot at him. And I want to say, as to the person, we don't know which homeowner shot at him. I guess they think that they did something wrong, which they did not. If somebody's breaking in your house, you're more than welcome to shoot them in Santa Rosa County. We prefer that you do, actually. So whoever that was, you're not in trouble. Come see us. We have a gun safety class we put on every other Saturday. And if you take that, you'll shoot a lot better, and hopefully you'll save the taxpayers money. So with that, questions?
The criminal in this place, I think it's germane to that little clip, is a white kid. It's not a black kid.
Right.
So we have gun training safety classes. Maybe you will improve your shooting.
aim will
Second
be better.
bullet through the first hole.
I think that's some plain speaking, and might account for, one of the reasons people love moving to Florida. You got
Or Texas.
your law and order, except you had a criminal justice system that didn't punish this guy enough.
Nope.
Let him right back out on the streets.
13 he started and locked up for 6 years.
Say the best Christmas gift. Well, there's many, but one of the best Christmas gifts you can get is a set of Gator magnets.
That's a fun gift to
Well,
give.
it's a storage solution for your garage or inside the house, the laundry room, anywhere there's a steel surface. You slap one of these magnets on. They have a hook on them, and you're storing things. The magnets hold up to 25 pounds. You just can't take it off the surface with your hands. You have to flip a little switch that they've involved, and then it comes right off, and you move it around. You move the Gator hooks to a different location. They're invented by GLers in a garage. They turn any steel surface into a place to hang and store your tools, shovels, rakes, kids' sporting equipment. Because you get stuff off the floor, and suddenly you've got a very neat garage or basement or laundry room or rec room or whatever you have. They're now available at HomeDepot.com.
You know what they're giving you? They're giving you real estate for your garage, or your storage room. Yes.
They're available at HomeDepot.com, and next week they'll be available in 1,000 Home Depot stores nationwide, a product that was introduced to the public right here on Garage Logic, and now's your chance, just in time for Christmas. Go to HomeDepot.com and get them shipped directly to your house or to your nearest Home Depot. There's a special Gator Magnetics display in the front of the store at Home Depot where you can see, touch, and, of course, buy Gator hooks, the greatest storage device ever invented. And they're also going to come up with the steel wall system, which you can use to create your own wall system wherever you want to hang shovels, tools, equipment, most anything. And if you haven't seen these babies yet, do yourself a favor. It is the way to solve your storage problem. Gator hooks from Gator Magnetics, now at Home Depot near you.
Hey, gentlemen, you
Yeah.
know what today is, right? Friday, December 9th.
That's right.
But it's also
I know.
the kickstart of
Yes.
the Garage Logic 1000th podcast winter auction.
Okay.
You know all those emails you guys have been receiving and
Yes.
corresponding with
Yes.
over the course of time?
Yeah.
Today's the day.
Oh.
So here's what you do. Go to GarageLogic.com, enter the keyword auction, and now through the 15th, you, my friend, yes, you are going to have the chance to save.
What am I bidding on?
All sorts of stuff. Fratelloni's gift cards. There's a couple of cool experiences through, Kenny, you're familiar with these guys, the Minnesota Horse and Hunt Club. Is that technically in Prior Lake, or is that
It's south.
technically in...
What do you do?
It's south.
Oh, it's a neat spot.
What do you go hunting with
horse.
them?
You go hunting horses.
No, that's not what you
hunt-
do.
What do you
Hunt
hunt?
horses.
The foxes?
He's looking for a Mustang.
But you go online, Joe. You go online to the Garage Logic website. You enter the keyword auction, and there's so many things for you. I'm trying to pull up my list here.
I know
Oh,
one.
you know what? No. I got one right here. Tri-State Bobcat Ultimate Yard Maintenance Package. The reserve price is already met, It's a 75 755 Toro zero-turn time cutter riding mower, a steel trimmer, and a steel handheld blower.
I can do you one better, bro.
Come
Escape
on.
with Us
I knew it.
Vacations, 5-night all-inclusive golf vacation for
What?
2 at Casa de Campo and Villas in La Ramona, Dominican.
Wait a
If
minute.
you want to go to Dominican, Teresa and Maria are part of this auction.
Wait a minute. All this stuff can be bid on?
Wait a minute, Such. The one I read, the retail value is $5,287. Reserve has been met. The next minimum bid, $2,100.
Someone going to steal it.
Yeah.
This is stealing
Same
from
here. This has got a
Tri-State
retail
Bobcat.
value of $9,000.
I have-
27 bid already. 2,700.
I have it on very good authority that a fellow client of ours is going to bid on the EcoFun Motorsports golf cart that's available at the
A
holiday.
fellow client?
Yes.
Wait,
Not
He
me?
happens to own a chain of hardware stores.
you
Oh,
can
well, I'll
buy
bid him then.
my buy it now price.
Are we allowed?
Of course.
Take your money, babe.
GLers, seriously, my buy it now price $3,700 for a package that, what did I say? $5,287. Buy it now.
Gentlemen, also the holiday season is upon us. RF Moeller Jewelers has a $4,000 gift certificate available in this auction. So if you're
What?
thinking about making a plunge, that's your spot if you've got to do some kissing up, if you know what I'm saying. That, and also my friends at Rise and Shine Garage Doors have a $1,000 gift certificate towards a new garage door installation. All of that and so much more is available via the Garage Logic 1000th podcast auction. Go to garagelogic.com. The bidding starts today and it only goes through the 15th. It starts today. Go to garagelogic.com. Enter the keyword auction.
You'll learn more here by accident than elsewhere by design. Here's Joe Souchere.
Here's a man with a shiny forehead.
Wow. Hit
Hi,
hard.
Joe. Hi.
Hey, how are you?
Hi,
Better
buddy.
back it up. You better back it up with something good here, Olson.
Yeah, you know what season it is, Matthew Mikulski? Christmas. The countdown has begun.
Yes.
That means our guy Rich up at Maple Grove Lock and Safe is giving all of us the gift of savings. We can save 10% in-store and website-wide through the end of December on all Liberty safes. Pop on to maplegrovelockandsafe.com. You'll see the entire Liberty lineup there. You already know the basics with the Liberty made in the USA, transferable lifetime warranties, the best fire protection in the business. And Rich offers professional delivery and installation, which as adults, we just do that. We're obligated. We're all grown up now, so that's what we do. Again, it's 10% off the entire Liberty lineup through December, both in-store and on the website. MapleGroveLockandSafe.com. They're at 6901 Fish Lake Road, and on the web, MapleGroveLockandSafe.com.
Very good.
Senator Kyrsten Sinema, Arizona,
Yeah.
a Democrat, has left the Democratic Party.
I saw this. And what she did surprise me.
And she wrote a pretty good piece.
Okay.
There's a disconnect between what everyday Americans want and deserve from politics and what political parties are offering.
No S.
Well, that's right down GL's alley.
Mm-hmm.
They're not concerned with us.
Right.
She's saying that she intends to be. I am privileged to represent Arizonans of all backgrounds and beliefs. I'm honored to travel to every corner of our state. While Arizonans don't all agree, we are united in our values of hard work, common sense, and independence. All right. We make our own decisions, use our own judgment, and lived experiences to form our beliefs. We don't line up to do what we're told, automatically subscribe to whatever positions the national political parties dictate, or view every issue through labels that divide us. So far, so good?
Yep.
Sounds like a GLer.
Each day, Arizonans wake up, work, and live alongside people with different views and experiences, usually without even thinking about this.
Absolutely.
Arizonans expect our leaders to follow that example. Set aside your games, work together, make progress, and then get out of the way so we can build better lives for ourselves and our families. Hip, hip, hooray.
Yep. Can't argue it one bit.
Yeah.
It's no surprise that Washington, D.C. often fails to reflect that expectation. Everyday Americans are increasingly left behind by the national party's rigid partisanship, which has hardened in recent years. Pressures in both parties pull leaders to the edges, allowing the loudest, most extreme voices to determine the respective parties' priorities and expecting the rest of us to fall in line.
That's on both sides, baby.
In catering to the fringes, neither party has demonstrated much tolerance for diversity of thought. Where's this sweetheart been all my life? What am I missing here?
Yeah, well, wait.
Look her up for me.
You have to look down for the. You're looking for the since.
I'm looking for something wrong here. I want information on her.
Okay.
A bipartisan compromise is seen as a rarely acceptable last resort, rather than the best way to achieve progress.
Right.
Payback against the opposition party has replaced thoughtful legislating. Americans are told they have only two choices, Democrat or Republican, and that we must subscribe wholesale to policy views the parties hold. Views that have been pulled further and further. No, it'd be farther and farther toward the extreme. She got that wrong. Most Arizonans believe this is a false choice, and when I ran for the U.S. House and the Senate, I promised Arizonans something different. I pledged to be independent and work with anyone to achieve lasting results. I committed I would not demonize people I disagreed with, engage in name-calling, or get distracted by drama. She grew up in a gas station.
Well, there you go.
She grew up in a bleeping gas station.
In a garage, Such.
Okay.
I promised I would never bend to party pressure. Okay, my approach in Washington is rare and has upset partisans. It's also an approach that has delivered lasting results for Arizona. I work proudly with senators in both parties who have similarly rejected political extremes and forged consensus, helping to drain some of the poison from politics.
She began her political career in the Arizona Green Party. Rose
No, wait, I'm out. Then never mind, I'm out.
There's
No,
we got some stuff
listen.
going on here.
Let's listen.
And rose to prominence for her progressive advocacy supporting causes such as LGBT rights and opposing the war on terror. She left the Green Party to join the Arizona Democratic Party in 2004 and was elected to a seat in the U.S. House of Representatives in 2012. After the election, she joined the New Democrat Coalition, the Blue Dog Coalition, and the Bipartisan Problem Solvers Caucus, amassing one of the most conservative voting records in the Democratic caucus. She won the 2018 Senate election to replace Jeff Blake, defeating Republican nominee Martha McScully. She is the first openly bisexual and the second openly LGBT woman after Tammy Baldwin to be elected to the House of Representatives and to the Senate in 2012 and 18, respectively. She left the Democratic Party. She's considered a key swing vote. Early life. Born in Tucson. The mom
Wait a
and
second,
dad-
Rook, pause a second.
Okay.
So the last election she was in was 2018?
2018, she was elected to the Senate.
Those are
Okay.
6-year terms, aren't they? Senate
Yes. Yeah.
All right, go ahead, Matt.
Parents, her dad was an attorney. They divorced when she was a child. And her mother, who had custody of the kids, remarried with her sibling stepfather. They moved to Florida. Her stepfather lost his job. The bank foreclosed on their house.
Ooh.
The family lived for 3 years in an abandoned gas station.
Oh, literally.
Oh, she wasn't pumping gas.
No, she lived there. She said that for 2 years they had no toilet or electricity while living there. She later recalled, my stepdad built a bunk bed for me and my sister, okay? So it's a...
That's an
kind of-
interesting story.
Yeah. Let's see. There is some skepticism from relatives saying that they did have running water and electricity. She was raised as a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, graduated as valedictorian from Walton High School in Defunct Springs at age 16, earned her BA from Brigham Young in 95 at age 18. She left the LDS Church after graduating from BYU. Then she returned to Arizona in 95. Employed as a social worker, she completed a Master of Social Work degree at ASU in 99. In 04, a JD degree from Arizona State University College of Law, and started working as a criminal defense lawyer.
So it sounds like she's, like all of us, has evolved with time.
Well, I was going to say, she checks every box to be a Mysterian.
Hey, now.
Every one.
She does, but her voting record, very conservative among Democrats. And like I tried to explain
so.
to her, are you the same person you were when you were 20? No, none of us are. Hell, I thought I liked the Grateful Dead there for a few months.
Well,
music out of my eyes.
let me,
it's awful.
Kenny, you're right. Let me finish my thought. She checks every
Right.
Do it.
question that might be asked of a
Thank you for-
Mysterian. She's gay, and she's bisexual, and she's not, and she is, and she's whatever. But could it be, and you're right, she obviously sounds like she's evolved. Could it be that the extreme left is even too extreme for someone who was toying with the mystery?
I think it is for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Witness Brett Weinstein. You know, that's how he
Good-looking
is.
gal.
Yeah.
It's an honor to represent the state I love so much in the U.S. Senate, and while I do, I pledge to continue doing exactly what I promised, be an independent voice for Arizona. She's Arizona's senior senator. Some partisans believe they own this Senate seat. They don't. This Senate seat doesn't belong to Democratic or Republican bosses. It doesn't belong to one party or the other, and it doesn't belong to me. This seat belongs to Arizona, which is far too special a place to be defined by extreme partisans and ideologues. Well, I'm rooting for you, baby.
It sounds like she does have her head on. She really, she's got her act together. As far as what she started out with saying about the parties are in control and there's no wiggle room.
I guarantee you we're going to get emails on this one.
What'd we do?
No, I mean deriding her, deriding us.
I'm not prepared to deride her. I'm desperate for someone to say those words. I'm desperate for someone to refute the radicalization of both parties.
But I was going to say, because we've gone to a place now where you have to fall in line with every single talking point of a given party, or you're not one of us. Mm-hmm. Well, that's no country I want to live in.
Oh, you're such a rhino. What the hell's your deal?
Exactly. And
Yeah.
it's how did we get here?
Failed academy.
I
I'm blaming the failed academy.
But Joe, I
for
think
everything.
it's way deeper than that. Don't you?
Yeah, it is. We're spoiled. We've had it too good for too long.
This whole "you're either with us or you're against us" mentality is the biggest detriment of this country.
The senator has been the target of extensive intra-party mudslinging by not falling in line with the rest of her party on key issues.
There you go.
Most notably, refusing to abolish the filibuster. While politicians are more focused on denying the opposition party a victory than they are on improving Americans' lives, the people who lose are everyday Americans, she wrote.
How do you argue with that?
You can't. That's why I have joined the growing numbers of Arizonans who reject party politics by declaring my independence from the broken partisan system. I registered in Arizona as an independent. The true ramifications of her departure from the Democratic Party are not yet known. More consequential than senators' party affiliation is their caucusing and legislative objections. In 2006, remember Joe Lieberman? Former Senator Joe Lieberman, independent from Connecticut, changed his affiliation from Democratic to Independent Democrat, a distinction not formally recognized by the Senate. Lieberman did so after losing his primary, but continued to caucus with the Democrats. So I guess that remains in play, is who will this woman caucus with. She says that she has not stated whether she will continue caucusing with the Democrats, but sources have told Fox News she will maintain her committee assignments via the Democratic Party.
Okay.
Well, I don't care what you are, lady. Just so you realize, and it sounds like you do, you realize that you people on the third rail have come to grow to a point where we're just a minor inconvenience to you. All we are the people who pay your bills. And we're tired of it.
Yep.
Along those lines, let me come back to locally. Joe, our fearless leaders have shown how overtaxed we really are. The details and aggravation expressed the last few days on your show is shared throughout Gumption County. Town meetings demanding a refund sound great, but will not work with these dummies as there is no financial gain at their end. Instead, maybe another avenue is a class action lawsuit. I don't know the feasibility of tax laws that would contribute to this idea, but maybe it's an option. The state forcibly removed these dollars from our pockets and have said it was not needed, thus the surplus we now have. This in itself is no problem other than it shows the ass hattery that happens at our capital. If they refunded those dollars to the people who paid them, no foul. However, if they keep any of it down to the last cent, they have committed theft. Also, a point you guys have not brought up. Picture this as a test similar to masking and COVID restrictions. As we progressed through the pandemic, the dictator turned the dial up ever so slowly so as to desensitize the citizens of the state of Minnesota. Think of how much easier it will be to control the population when the next emergency comes along. Parallel that situation to the surplus. We are at the beginning of that turning of the dial. If we allow Walz to steal these dollars from us, we have started to turn the dial up. Imagine what our lawmakers will think of and try doing if they are able to keep that almost $18 billion. Mm-hmm. GLers are onto this, aren't they? They're well onto this theft. It's a theft. It's a theft.
Theft. Thievery.
Think how much you can spend at the Garage Logic 1000 podcast auction with $17 billion.
And there is an eco-fund. There is an eco-fund golf cart available for auction.
Yep. There is. I got news for you. You ain't outbidding Fratelloni.
Well, he has deeper pockets.
I meant a fellow client that might or might not have a hand in
that won't
stores.
Stop me from going to eco-fund.
The Rover,
and getting my own.
The Rover 200i golf cart.
EFI, electronic fuel injection.
Current bid is $3,101. Retail value of $7,900. That's a steal.
Yeah, I got news for you, but they're on. That's the retail value. But at EcoFun in Forest Lake in Burnsville, they're on sale for $62.99.
What a fun thing to have.
I hope Fratellini goes way over the $62.99.
Yeah. Somebody outbid him. Let's go.
Everything's on sale at EcoFun. Christmas, post-pandemic sale, $200 off electric bikes, those Bentelli sweethearts. All the scooters that turn errands into urban adventures, $100 to $500 off. Free heated storage if you need it. Over 100 youth ATVs and dirt bikes in stock just in time for Christmas. The golf carts, the full-size ATV with the 2,000-pound winch and the 48-inch KFI steel snowblade, $58.99. That sounds terribly reasonable to me. I just wish I had a place to use it.
Right.
Great for plowing suburban 2- and 3-car wide driveways. Yeah, but I live in the sustainable urban core.
Sorry, brah.
I got to go with the golf cart. 0% interest financing for 1 year on all products in stock. There's helmets, there's apparel, there's service. 2 stores, Highway 97 in Forest Lake, immediately west of 35E. Opened this summer. It's fantastic. And a store that opened this summer in Burnsville on the Service Road of Life near County Road 42 and 35W. EcoFund Motorsports, ecofundmotorsports.com.
Give the gift of fantastic water this holiday season. It's Reavers here once again for my friends at Hofferman Water. You know, it's water season. Actually, it's water season year-round with my friends at Hofferman Water, an independent water treatment dealer, by the way.
You got to drink in the winter, don't you?
Of course. I think I might drink more water in the winter than I do in the summer.
Sure, you get dry and no humidity.
That's right. They offer sales, service, and rental for Connecticut water treatment systems that includes water softeners, iron rust and odor filtration systems, and, of course, drinking water systems. You get yourself that new system from Connecticut. It can do so many things that other water softeners just simply cannot do. It's going to cut down on your salt usage, but it's going to protect your appliances. And once you get that new system from Connecticut, oh boy, your showers are better, your laundry is better, and so is your drinking water. So please get in touch with my friends at Hofferman Water today. I have been a customer of Hofferman for years now, and it's made an amazing difference in the quality of my water. 952-894-4040. That's 952-894-4040, or just visit their website and see everything that they have to offer at HoffermanWater.com. Hofferman Water has been proudly serving the state of Minnesota for over 50 years. Please tell them you heard about them here on the Garage Logic podcast.
Hey, Pat,
Yes, Joseph.
congratulations.
Well, thank you. I
What do you win?
I get to go to the banquet and or whatever it is, the Diamond Awards, and say thank you, I guess.
What do they get for a table? Because we need to get one for the crew to go be a part of this.
I don't know. I do not
Where
know.
are they held?
At Target Field, right?
They do it at I think they're doing it at Target Field. That's where they've
Do
done
you get
it
a
in the
trophy
past.
or something for the Herb Carneal
I
Award?
suppose you get a little plaque. You must get a little plaque with Herbie's picture on it. Don't you?
Royce, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm out, so don't save me a
Okay,
spot.
don't
I'm out.
worry about you. Don't
Yeah.
worry about you.
Well, in honor of
Well,
this
you know, they're
prestigious
giving all
award,
the-
Pat, in honor of this prestigious award, we were shown the great tirade that you had about Twins not playing back in 2013 on the highly rated sports show. So we played that in Garage Logic.
Yeah, I don't think that was part of my campaign right there.
But, Pat, you know what that showed me? That
What?
you and me, by extension, we've been on to this not playing for a lot of years now.
Yes. That was Gardy.
Yeah.
Gardy was a driver of men compared to what they are now.
Yeah.
And, it's but even then it was driving me insane, and now it's just they've almost defeated you now, Joe. It's almost defeated you.
Yeah.
The NBA is the worst of all. This is certainly an aside, but the Lakers made their annual trip to Canada the other day, right?
Mm-hmm.
To play Toronto, full arena. LeBron didn't play and Davis didn't play. They're two best players. They gave them days off. They weren't hurt. They just gave them days off.
I don't like it.
No, it's a bad trend. And if there's one reason for Correa to sign here, it's probably he knows he only got to play 125 games, even if they give him $40 million.
Isn't that something?
Although he played last year, I'll say that for him. He didn't. He probably percentage of games played. He had to be high on that team. I don't think he took any DL time, but it's you know what? I also think they got a little softer when we changed the name from disabled list to injured list.
Right.
Because disabled, we thought that had a negative connotation. Well, it should have a negative. You're not playing. It should be. Bring back disabled list.
Well,
maybe more people will
And
play.
don't forget the role of the scans that play in this, because we're now giving names to injuries that never existed.
Yes, that is the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Somebody told me 20 years ago the biggest thing in baseball durability is the invention of the MRI machine.
Right. Right.
Back then, there'd be a bone sticking out, and they'd say, go take an X-ray. Yeah, it's okay. Don't worry.
Have we asked you, Reeves, how many players played 162 games this year?
I don't think.
In Major League Baseball, Whit Merrifield had played all of them in Kansas City for about 6 years, and then they traded him to Toronto, and he only because of they didn't want him in the lineup a lot of times. But I don't think many.
That's
They just don't do that anymore.
yeah.
But
Speaking of
That
baseball, have you guys seen the projected payroll for your New York Mets for 2023?
Yeah, 400
well, they
million.
got
330
two
right now.
pitchers making what? For like 43, and what's Scherzer making?
40 something.
Yeah, they got two pitchers making 80 or something, over 80. So, and they're both like 40 years old. So.
They gave Verlander too much money for his age.
Yeah, but you get Kate with that deal too.
Right.
That's true.
Yeah, factor that in. It's money well spent.
I am on Baseball Reference. Games played for the major leagues of 2022. Two players have played in 162 games.
players.
And they played in both for the same team. Matt Olson and Dansby Swanson for the Atlanta Braves.
Way to go! Yeah,
Two players.
Yep.
They got the crusty old minor league manager Snitker, was in the minor leagues for 50 years, and and he won a World Series. So
In 1960, what percentage of players do you think played all the games?
oh, not that probably not that many, but
More than
probably
two.
50, probably. It might have been 30 or 40. I remember Morneau saying his goal, before he got the concussion and everything. I remember a piece about him in spring training about 2009 when he said, "My goal is to play them all." So,
How many games? What's the most games Maurer ever played in a season, I wonder?
well, he was catching though too, so no, catchers don't.
Okay, I bet Yogi Berra played all 162 at least once or twice.
But later in his life he was playing left field.
I
all
know.
the time too.
And your leader for the Minnesota Twins was a guy we just shipped to California, Gio Urshela, with 144.
I still can't figure that trade out.
Me
to save my
either.
life.
Me either.
So, I don't know. They're gonna, Boris is gonna make them wait for everything. They got to give him a deadline and say, "Are you gonna take this $250 million or aren't you?" For this guy.
250 for Correa? They're not going to get him for $250 million.
Yeah, I don't know. I know. I'm talking fewer years, though. You're not going to sign him for 10 years. I don't know. Who's going to give him the money now? Who's going to give him the money? Boston?
I still think the Dodgers are a sleepy candidate.
Yeah, they lost Trey Turner, but
Where did Trey Turner go? San Diego?
No, he went to Philadelphia. Joe Mauer played 158 games as a first baseman in 2015.
That's pretty good.
The last year he was a full-time. The last time he's a full-time catcher was 2012, where he played 147 games.
That's still pretty good.
You got to go the distance, though, if you're going to play.
Thank you. Thank you.
I thought he quit catching before then.
Was it? Okay, I thought 2012 was his last year.
2010 was his last year as a catcher. I think he got the bad concussion. I might be wrong.
Pat, I didn't invest any time in the Thursday night football game, Vegas at the Rams. Turns out it must have been pretty exciting for Baker Mayfield to walk on and win it in the last 9 seconds.
Yes, 98-yard drive, and I didn't see a minute of it because I keep forgetting there's Thursday night football, Joe. I watched the Gopher basketball, and I was mesmerized by how rotten they were. And then, they were never really in a game. And then what else did I do? I guess I watched some movie or something. I forgot all about the fact that there was Monday Night Football.
Okay, here, I got a complaint. I tried to watch Slow Horses.
Yes.
Okay, it's on Apple TV.
Yes.
I had to log in. I don't know. I don't have a password. What do you mean I have to log in? I'm not logging in.
Welcome to the new world.
The missus successfully able to log. You got to get the bride involved, or one of the kids.
Yeah.
Because the missus had to do it for me. I failed like 6-7 times a couple of years ago before we finally got it.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, it's impossible. They want you to do it on another device, Joe.
I don't do that. No. Bring back 3 channels.
4, 5, 9, and 11. Let's go.
Let's go.
Yes.
And Senor Wentz is teaching Spanish on Channel 2 or whatever the hell his name was. Jeez.
Yeah, it was. I was thinking that last weekend when I was watching as I told you, I'm able to watch Mary Hardin Baylor play Bethel in modern times. And that was, we would have gotten that score by carrier pigeon about 2 days later if back 20 years ago. It's incredible how everything's available to us.
I'm being told that your dinner is at the Depot in Minneapolis, Thursday, January 26th.
Not at the Twins, huh? They moved it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm not I'm not privy to all those details.
Are those events over early, do you think? Or is it
Can a guy get home by 10 to hit
I mean,
the
how
sack?
many people are going to get an
Yeah,
award?
Well, here's the deal. They give out all these awards for the Twins,
Yeah.
but Correa's got 5 of them,
Oh,
right? I think he won 5 of the 8 or something. So if they give him each one, individually, I mean, what's he going to tell us? He can't, even if he doesn't sign here, will he show up?
yeah.
I think he won 5 of the 8 awards. So
Maybe you'll be first.
There you go.
And you know what? During your speech, I know we've worked together for, 33 decades, but I just don't want you to feel pressured to mention me at all during your speech because you didn't in the book,
I
okay?
wrote a book and you weren't mentioned. So that's,
I won't be offended if I'm not
that
acknowledged.
was an oversight. No, I think my speech is to taunt Sid.
Yeah.
Because Sid never made this list, and it's too late now, Sidney. Can't make it now, baby.
Which would be a lot more fun if he was there.
Yes, it would.
Yeah.
Well, I say they had to wait 2 years to make sure he just wouldn't show up.
Right.
So, anyway. But can you imagine the hell he would be giving somebody
Oh,
if me, the evil, negative, no good guy, were to get a plaque
Oh,
that he
it'd kill
never
him.
got? He would not have taken it.
no, he
well.
would not take that well.
No, he would not.
Guy from his own paper.
Right. Well, people on his own paper were his worst enemies.
As upset as he used to get when they couldn't get him a guest on the radio, the Twins. I can't imagine how this would offend him. But anyway, so I got the Augie plaque from the MIAC, and then I got this thing, whatever it is. And then you carried me into the Pavic thing, Hall of Fame. So that's about it. I think I can, I think my plaque days are over.
Yeah, we're running out of time, aren't we?
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
70. When they put it, when they had a little thing in the strip today,
Yeah.
they put my age in there. That was the first time I was alarmed by it.
Yeah. Is that in there today?
Sleeping 7.
Oh, yeah, Reusse. Yeah.
Yeah, right there.
77? I thought you were
Yeah,
75.
Holy
Oh,
crap.
no.
Wow.
God, are you old?
I am old. And it's just really, what the hell?
What do you think I feel? I'm going to turn 54 this month.
Really?
Yeah.
I even got mentioned in this story. What the hell?
Did I? Did you see me?
No, Rook, you're not in this one.
Okay.
Yeah, you got, basically, they said that you were my radio partner for a long time. So you weren't the partner. I was the sidekick. You were the man. You were the man. I'll admit that,
See, Rook, that's why you got to get mentioned.
Yeah, I know. I need something. I'm starting to feel sad.
One of us on the occasion of the next plaque will mention you.
Okay.
Okay.
Next plaque.
He's an optimist, like there's going to be
How
a
many
plaque.
times, Joe, I think the main reason I got this thing is they felt sorry for me to getting my ass kicked in 3 Hall of Fame nominations.
Yeah.
Finishing a well-beaten third each time in a 3-man race.
Yeah.
And finally, they didn't nominate me this time because 2 of my best friends, Lowe and the late, great Jerry Fraley, I would have gotten shut out. I would have gotten 0. I wouldn't have gotten 0. So I think maybe they felt sorry for me for that, although it did bother me because but anyway, I think that might be part of it. But how many times, what was that award that you had to show up for those banquets every year? What was that thing?
All those
The Marconi?
Marconi Awards.
Yeah.
Marconi. How many times before you said no more Marconi?
I got about 11 second placers. I'm not going to that thing anymore.
Not going.
The hell with them.
No.
Yeah.
They're going to disappoint you because they got the teams. They're all, the wacky morning guys are always beating you. Right?
Yeah.
Didn't Brad Lane go for you one time? And
Somebody goes.
So
I
it was
don't
for
care
good
who
luck?
goes. I don't care who goes.
Weren't you one time, you were beaten by somebody who works at CCO Radio who simply replayed something that aired on TV,
Yeah,
and that
one
beat you?
Jordana Green.
Yeah, she did one podcast.
It was one podcast.
She
and
didn't have anything to do with it.
all she did
except
was
she
read
read
it.
Yeah.
I got wiped. That's when I said to myself, this is not going to happen again.
This is the belly of the
I
snake.
ain't going anymore.
Belly of the snake.
Yeah.
I called several people, and police said, no more Hall of Fame nominations. A, I don't give a damn. And B, I can't afford it if I were to accidentally win, because you got to get about 8 hotel rooms in Cooperstown at those prices. So the hell with it. So,
I'll talk to you Monday, I bet.
yes, I will be there.
All right.
So,
Thank you.
all right.
Thank you.
And we'll take bets on whether or not he abstains from Twitter for 72 hours like he promised.
He won't.
Not
So
a chance in hell.
How many cans of Seafoam you got in the garage right now?
2.
That's it?
What are your plans with those cans?
Well, they're just always needed for snow blowers and things like that.
At the ready.
And they're at the ready. The cars that have been stored for winter have already been seafoamed.
With just a drop or two, or a whole jug?
no.
A healthy gulp.
A good gulp.
Yeah.
A good
and,
gulp.
And then you ran it a while, right?
I drove them before they put where the covers got put on them.
So good. You circulated.
Mm-hmm.
I sure hope you don't sneak into his garage and start him, Kenny.
Have I given you enough time to find the...
I got a question for you. A guy wants a ruling.
Oh, from me?
Wow, this is very...
It has nothing to do with seafoam.
This is a very
but
spur of the moment.
I think you could introduce seafoam to this ruling request.
Oh.
Mark writes, as a lifelong GLer, I subscribe to the last drop philosophy. However, invariably, there comes a time when old gas must be discarded out of the snowblower, leaf blower, chainsaw, lawnmower, 9-horse, the YZ125, or other two-cycle motors, so new fresh gas can be used to run that machine, especially at the end or start of a season. What do other GLers do with old gas? Up until now, I've just been burning it on the bonfire or when I burn a few tires. If the gas didn't have oil mixed in it, I'd pour it in my truck's tank. What is the GL way to go on this? Kenny, when I read this, I knew what my answer was, but you take it.
Well, I think oil, a little two-stroke oil in your truck will not hurt one single thing.
I don't think so either.
Always, you can always dump it in there. If it's varnish,
Don't dump it.
then it's a weed killer. It's a tire fire starter. Or try to figure out how to do it legally. But there's usually a way around it. But the way around this is preventive maintenance, seafoam ahead of time.
Well, there's no reason to have what he's calling old gas.
Right.
In the spring, load up the snowblower with seafoam.
Yeah, and I've been talking about my snowblower this year because I've been abusing that thing for
The
years.
big bastard?
The big bastard, and I finally had to pull the carb off and do the due diligence there, and it's all clean and ready to be put back on. But I also pulled an old vintage sled out of the shed, and I cracked the gas cap, not remembering how I put it away. I looked down in there. The tank was dry. I can't tell you how happy that made me. Wow. That means I drained the gas, and I cleaned the carb ahead of time with seafoam, and the thing fired right up as soon as I put a little gas in it. But the old gas, that can be a problem, but don't fear putting last year's gas into your automobile. A little two-stroke oil is not going to hurt anything. It's just going to, a little extra lube for those rings. It'll be just fine.
Watch 14 cars blow up and can you get sued?
Right. A lot of guys, like our guy Derek on Vice Grip Garage, that's how he revives old engines. He doesn't use ether or carb cleaner or starting fluid. He uses old lawnmower weed whip gas because of the oil in the gas, so it doesn't hurt anything. But the great thing about Seafoam, it's everywhere. Convenience stores, auto parts stores, big box stores, your local knack hardware, you'll find this stuff everywhere. A local company, global reach, and a miracle in a world of cruddy, awful gas. Seafoam.
If you're rolling, Reeves, that means you're rolling with spiral light candles because you want to roll with candles in a really cool way. And that's what they do. They burn in a spiral motion, a circular motion. All the wax then melts in. There is a wick in the middle once it gets down to a certain level where it just burns. And that's after it's entertained you for so long. Many different colors at spirallightcandles.com, many different scents, many different sizes, and there are 2 specialties. Well, actually, there's 3 this year. The Cylinder Index candle, which I just took out of my cupboard and took a whiff, and it is fantastic. It smells just like the garage. Then I also love the mini donut scent, That is perfect. That was at the State Fair this year. And also brand new, we saw it at Tattersall Brewing, they have the Brandy Old Fashioned, and it just smells fabulous. So if you want to be entertained, you can be entertained by the circular motion that they burn, but you also can be a great gift giver. If you a hostess gift, maybe Christmas gift, Hanukkah, whatever the case may be, find the selection that you want at spirallightcandles.com. Why are they so special? Well, this business was started in the garage, and it's a family business, and they love garage logic. So that's why they're bringing the message to the podcast. spirallightcandles.com. Let them know that the Rook sent you.
Kenny got something?
No.
Here's a man who spends hours in hardware stores sifting through the nuts and bolts of life. Joe Souchere.
Hey, that fruitcake suitcase thief struck again.
What?
What?
He
The
did not.
non-binary bandit.
Not at the airport.
Non-binary bandit.
Sounds
This
like
time
a
he stole
Batman
luggage at
villain.
Vegas.
You're kidding me.
No. Last week, Fox News, because no traditional news gathering organization is alarmed by this story. Last week, Fox News asked the Department of Energy whether this Sam Brinton was still on the payroll following the theft in Minneapolis of a suitcase. The DOE said simply that Brinton was placed on leave, but refused to say whether it is still paying him.
Oh, my God.
Well, he's on the third rail. He's getting paid. Did they do any, Timbuktu wants to know, did they do any kind of background check on this fruitcake? On the third rail, they apparently don't check resumes. They just check boxes. Right. Yeah, somebody thought they were doing the right thing by hiring this idiot. A felony warrant was issued for Brinton, Deputy Assistant Secretary. A Deputy Assistant Secretary. The charge is for grand larceny with a value between $1,200 and $5,000. Brinton is Deputy Assistant Secretary of the Office of Spent Fuel and Waste Disposition. That means there's a real secretary of it. He's just a Deputy Assistant Secretary.
Right.
This is according to the Office of Nuclear Energy's website. Brinton faces charges for a similar incident at the Minneapolis airport. He was on leave after charges were filed in connection with that incident, an Energy Department spokesman said in November. And you're paying for this lunatic. And he isn't going to suffer. He isn't going to suffer.
How many times do you have to run afoul of the law in order to get fired?
Well, you used the felony word a couple of times, right?
Yeah.
Felonious activity.
Huh.
Yeah. Two stories that stare at me. They glare at me.
Okay.
They glare at me.
Glaring.
One is certainly to be expected, and I won't overwhelm you with these. In fact, I think I promised you I would not do more than one a week because they're certainly not unexpected. But there's a Massachusetts town library causing an uproar when it reportedly decided to skip the Christmas tree, leading one staffer and several local residents to speak out to Jesse Waters Primetime. It must be a Fox show.
Let's see, what is that?
The Endicott branch of the Dedham Public Library in Massachusetts decided it will not set up its Christmas tree publicly this season after decades of tradition. Whoever this Jesse Waters is said the recent development in the Bay State constituted the latest skirmish in the war on Christmas. Instead of spreading holiday cheer, the library is going to keep the star in the box and leave the tree in storage, ending a tradition that's been going on for decades. Library director Amber Maroney had said some people were offended by having a Christmas tree in the library, so they nixed it.
Unbelievable.
Where was this, Joe?
Massachusetts.
Okay.
Some of the people are missing the tree, but don't realize librarians are at the forefront of the mystery. I don't know. Some people complain, so there's no mystery. The library celebrates Pride Week. Well, that's pretty limited audience, isn't it?
Plus, you get the drag queens coming in to read kids'
They
stories.
do Kwanzaa. That's a limited audience. You ought to be able to throw a Christmas
Well, you're
tree
missing
up
a
there.
key word though with this story because I read it yesterday.
What's the key word?
You know why they're doing it?
It offended people.
No. You're missing the big one.
What?
Come on, it's a big buzzword.
Equity.
You're close.
Diversity.
Inclusion.
Inclusion. Yeah.
Very inclusive.
Even though you're going to exclude
Christians.
right.
Yeah.
So inclusive, aren't we? We're so inclusive.
Now the hell with them. I won't do any more than one.
To hell with
it's
all
just
of 'em.
typical. Bleep them.
Hit it into the
Then
water.
the other one that glared at me, because it's totally different.
Wait, I thought we were only going to get one.
Oh, this is positive.
Oh, okay, good.
It was on this day,
Wait, this day in history? 12/9, December 9th.
1965.
Okay.
A Charlie Brown Christmas debuted on network television. That's 57 years ago. How much we've changed in 57 years.
That's the saddest. I
Because
guess.
you couldn't put that on the air today.
Well, it's
No
not.
network would have the balls to put it on the air.
Well, Schultz fought to get the Linus line in.
CBS executive, we've discussed this before, but
Yes.
it bears mentioning again. In fact, is it on tonight, I wonder?
I'm going to look.
It's a fun thing for kids to watch. CBS executives were underwhelmed by the show, by the slow pace of production, and the network had battled behind the scenes with creator Charles Schultz over the inclusion of a scene lifted straight from the New Testament. The animation was quirky. There was no laugh track. Actual children, not trained voice actors, spoke for the characters. Peter Robbins, the voice of Charlie Brown, was just 9 years old at the time. He died in January of 20. He died this year in January of 2022 at age 65.
Wow, this is so sad.
What?
There's a TV guide online piece about this, and it basically says, is a Charlie Brown Christmas on television this year? Unfortunately, no. The 1965 special has long been a staple airing on broadcast TV up until recently. Apple TV Plus gained the rights to 3 Charlie Brown holiday specials in 2020, including a Charlie Brown Christmas. Last year, the streamer granted PBS the right to air the specials on TV, but PBS revealed in a Twitter comment that that's not going to be the case for 2022. Why?
Because it has a scene from the New Testament.
Why?
Are you sure it's because Charlie Brown,
No.
somebody should
Don't Mr. Rogers me.
somebody
You're trying to
should
Mr. Rogers me.
smack that kid up backside of the head.
Nearly half of the American television sets watched it in 1965.
Lucy was the only one that read Charlie right. She got it.
What about that peppermint patty? That was something going on there.
You're telling me, Reavers, that the Charlie Brown Christmas will no longer continue to warm the spirits of millions of people.
You can stream it on Apple TV,
Well,
but
I
it's
can't.
not.
I can't log into
that
that
But
was
it's
damn
not
thing.
broadcast on regular television.
Remember, you knew it was a special when they had that 5-second, it's a special presentation, and there was some high drama music for about 5 seconds. You knew it was Rudolph, it was Charlie Brown, or something big.
Oh, God.
Of all of the smut and filth we put on TV, and you're trying to tell me we can't have a Charlie Brown Christmas because it has a segment with the New Testament on it. Have we lost our minds? I guess that's a rhetorical question because the answer
How
is
many
yes.
times do you have to run down the field and try to kick that ball
Oh, my God.
only to have her pull it out before it finally dawns on you that she's never gonna leave it there?
Nope.
That is the definition of insane.
Lucy was a bad girl.
The kid should have gone to the Twitch farm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's
but then,
something wrong with that kid.
but then Lucy, wasn't she the one the doctor's in for a nickel?
Yep.
She was a good kid.
No, she
You know,
was a
little,
bad
she was
kid.
a little
She
misunderstood.
was a bad kid.
Good girl.
Music by Vince Guaraldi, of course, which we've played on GL for
Oh, I miss that so much, Joe.
100 years.
I really do.
It plays in my house every Christmas Eve, that soundtrack.
I don't get your fascination.
The genius of A Charlie Brown Christmas was the way it channeled the looming sadness that comes with the holidays. Rolling Stone wrote in a 50th anniversary retrospective of the Guaraldi recordings in 2015. Its timeless, best-selling soundtrack by the Vince Guaraldi Trio tapped into that narrative seamlessly with muted, melancholic jazz. The foundation of the program's popularity, however, is the open embrace of the birth of Christ, a fact curiously overlooked in most children's Christmastime specials about magical snowmen and flying reindeer. A Charlie Brown Christmas reaches its climax as the frustrated title character screams out, "Isn't there anyone who knows what Christmas is all about?" Linus responds with a dramatic Shakespearean moment. "Sure, Charlie Brown, I can tell you what Christmas is all about." And then he reads.
Share and share alike.
He takes the stage by himself under a spotlight and proceeds to quote verbatim the Christmas story as it appears in the King James Version of the book of Luke. "And there were in the same country shepherds abiding in the field, keeping watch over their flocks by night. And lo, the angel of the Lord came upon them, and the glory of the Lord shone around about them, and they were sore afraid. And the angel said unto them, Fear not, for behold, I bring you good tidings of great joy, which shall be to all people. For unto you is born this day in the city of David a Savior, which is Christ the Lord." And we can't do that anymore because this country has been ruined. I no longer am going to say that we're being ruined. It's been ruined.
Continues to be ruined.
"And
Yeah.
this shall be a sign unto you. Ye shall find the babe wrapped in swaddling clothes, lying in a manger. And suddenly there was the angel of a multitude of the heavenly host, praising God and saying, Glory to God in the highest, and on earth peace and goodwill toward men. For unto you is born this day in the city of David a Savior, which is Christ the Lord." Linus follows his biblical soliloquy by announcing to his now spirited friend, "And that, Charlie Brown, is what Christmas was all about." Then they gather around that crummy tree that Charlie had to go out and
really,
put in, you know.
really bad.
But now it's a much-loved and lush, beautiful little Christmas tree. Hark, the herald angels sing, "Glory to the newborn King." The Peanuts gang sings triumphantly as the credits roll. Good for you, Charlie Schultz.
You know, the kid from James Avenue did all right, didn't he? Mm-hmm. Across from
Little
Maddox
teeny house
School. Huh?
It wasn't on James. It was on McAllister.
Oh, he lived on McAllister, but he lives across the street from Maddox.
That was
Right
Kellogg.
there on the corner.
Copy.
Sure it wasn't St. Clair?
His old man was a barber at O'Gara's.
Yeah.
Thought it was Phelan.
What?
If I was president of the United States, I would say put peanuts on the air.
Can you imagine a president
I'd be
doing
impeached. I'd be impeached.
that? Right, you would. You absolutely would. Because again, you have to check all the boxes and follow the company line of every single thing we stand for. Otherwise, you're against us.
Yeah, well, I don't stand for what they stand
If
for.
you are not with us, you are against us.
You also stand far away from your microphone.
No, I just lean back. I've been leaning into it.
How you doing?
You know, it's just...
We're churning out a generation of poorly educated people with no skill, no ambition, no guidance, and no realistic expectation of what it means to go to work. Mike Reusse said that. If kids knew what they wanted to be at the age of 8, the world would be filled with cowboys and princesses. I wanted to be a pirate. Thank goodness nobody took me seriously and scheduled me for eye removal and a peg leg surgery. Bill Maher. Yeah, there's a lot of contradictions out there. If socialism is so good, why aren't any of these caravans trying to get into Venezuela?
That's a good point.
Great point.
And no Charlie Brown Christmas this year. And they'll
Unless
say,
you-
yes, there is, but you got to log in.
You got to stream it.
Can't you just own it on video, I bet?
They're offering it for free. I did read that.
But the fun
Well,
of it...
how do I see
The
it?
fun of it was seeing it every year on CBS or whoever had it.
How long before the sound of the music is bounced?
Oh, God, not soon enough. That
Oh, I
thing's a
love that.
pile of crap.
No, what are you talking
Jeez.
about? Are you nuts?
Kidding me? Give me
Wonderful.
a break.
You are
Wonderful
crazy.
stuff.
The hills are alive.
The Wizard of Oz probably still passes muster. What about It's a Wonderful Life? That's still on?
Yeah, but it's kind of been replaced by a Christmas
You know,
story.
one really, really
Mary, don't you know me?
controversial topic we have not broached in Garage Logic. Where do we stand on the sequel to A Christmas Story?
Yes, it's a yes.
You've seen it?
Yeah,
I have not.
I have seen it.
It's good?
It's good.
I've not seen the sequel.
It's not better than the first.
Well, of course
but
not.
they did a good job.
Well, because
Scott
Ralphie's...
Farkas comes out as being a good guy.
Oh, really? Is it the original guy?
It's all the original people.
Really?
But
It's not written by
They
Who's the author?
Gene Shepard.
It's not written by Gene Shepard.
No,
is
but
it?
they keep it intact,
Wasn't
and they
he dead?
The dad dies, and that's why they all kind of get
But
together.
Peter
and-
Billingsley's playing Ralphie.
Yes.
Okay.
And it's
I'm surprised that passes muster because that's a nuclear family.
it was a. In fact, I had my entire family. We sat in the basement and watched it.
Well, then you should read all Gene Shepard. Your kids would love Ollie Hop Noodle's Haven of Bliss,
we
where the
haven't.
same old man, packs them up, and they go on their summer vacation. The lake's a swamp, beat up piece of crap lake, and the car breaks down, and the fish are all bullheads.
There's a
and
tree in the middle
it's
of
just
the
wonderful.
swamp.
Just wonderful. Ollie Hop Noodle's Haven of Bliss.
Okay, I've instructed my kids not to read because you can watch the videos.
Really
Wow.
good policy.
Wow.
No,
Why don't you bring us back with a scramble?
How about first?
Why not first?
I let you know about our friends at Rise and Shine Garage Doors.
You gonna talk slowly?
Participating in the Garage Logic 1000th podcast auction. So here's your opportunity.
Do it.
If you are in the market for a new garage door, well, first go bid on that auction item at garagelogic.com. Enter the keyword auction. And maybe you don't win on that auction item. Well, then go to Rise and Shine Garage Doors on their website. Call riseandshine.com. That's their website. Their phone number is right here, 651-300-3252. The absolute best in the business. Customer service is their number one objective, and that's what they care about. That's why they have a perfect 5-star rating on Google and Yelp. You get a 5% discount for senior, military, and AAA members. Certified technicians that will come to your door 7 days a week. And just because you live outside of the metro area, they'll still be able to take care of you because they're expanding to Rochester, St. Cloud, Mankato, Northfield, and even parts of western Wisconsin. And I had my eyes open because they came out to my place and gave me the 29-point inspection. And garage door openers have come such a long way now. And all the openers that they carry are top-of-the-line LiftMaster professional belt drive openers. And some of these also have built-in LED lights, integrated cameras, backup batteries, and ultra-quiet DC motors. And you can even sync your opener with MyQ and Amazon Key so that you can control the garage door from anywhere with your smartphone. And if you have an online shopper in the home, the packages can be delivered safely inside the garage, so that way no one steals your loot. So call riseandshine.com, make your appointment, have somebody come out for that 29-point inspection, and please tell them you heard about them here on the Garage Logic Podcast.
ladies and gentlemen, open the door.
Finally. Oh, it wasn't bacon fat. It was coffee grounds.
Jesus H.
Never mind.
God almighty.
It wasn't bacon. It was coffee grounds.
You're a ding dong.
He's ours, and we ain't trading them.
Coffee grounds.
Papa Joe.
Coffee grounds.
It's the scramble.
Charles Mantufel writes, and we'll have to weigh in here. This is a very significant request. Hail the Flashlight King.
Hail
you.
After 4 years in Vietnam, 2 of which I've been married, I am seriously considering staying here. During my daily walks down the service road of life, in other words, a long motorbike commute and traffic jams, I wonder if it's even worth it to move back to the States now that we are expecting our first child. Given the utterly failed academy, including the encroachment of leftist ideology in elementary and high school, I would appreciate your 2 cents on this. Yes, Vietnam is a socialist country, but besides the corrupt traffic cops who I could pay off with $25 if I get pulled over, it doesn't affect me. The very low cost of living for a high quality of life here is hard to give up. Might be good to bring up the topic on a news day when the commie can weigh in. Well, John Haidt isn't here. I'm from River Falls, class of 2002, and I smiled when I heard that the first meeting of the town council would be in my old stomping grounds. Love the show. Keep it up, Charles. And you can see his wanderings at Fam Trip on YouTube. PHAM Trip. Fam Trip on YouTube. He has 500 subscribers.
Okay.
Cool.
Speaking of that, you should subscribe to YouTube on the Garage Logic YouTube page.
Well, here's what my answer would be. I'm not sure I would return to Minnesota,
Or Wisconsin.
but there are places in the United States where you could return to and have a a life somewhat free of the tallest buildings.
Yeah.
Although I would not be the one to tell you where that would be.
Okay.
Rapid City.
Yep, I was going to say South Dakota's high on that
Sioux
list.
Falls?
Yeah, I'd go further west
Yeah.
or somewhere by the Missouri.
But I sure as hell wouldn't come back to Minnesota if you don't have to.
Nope.
It's not looking good here. I'm sad to say that,
Right.
but it's true. And I don't know if you got a good gig going in Vietnam. The weather's got to be certainly more agreeable than Minnesota.
Isn't it dank all the time?
Yeah,
Might
it's
be
hot
a little
and sweaty.
humid. Might be a little humid.
That's the way they're
Gross.
portraying all the platoon movies or Vietnam War movies.
Well, there you go, Charles. I don't know what to tell you, but I think
Yeah.
you do have a dilemma. And if your wife is, I don't know, but did he marry a Vietnamese woman? They might have family there, and
I didn't factor that in.
what
yeah.
have you, Only because they come to us all the way from, I am sending this early due to we're on the move. We have 3 flights. We'll be on the second flight, which is 16 hours long, and won't be able to send it at the normal time. From the traveling lineman's back in the air somewhere over the Atlantic Ocean.
16 hours on an airplane.
When you're riding 16 hours
I
and there's
couldn't do
nothing
it.
left to do.
I couldn't do it.
I don't think I could.
I just turned the page.
But he, disciplined as he is, we have this day in Minnesota history.
Yeah.
On
Today's
this day in 1890,
December 9th.
the University Avenue streetcar line from Minneapolis to St. Paul began operating.
Okay.
What year?
1890.
Now, did that go down University or
No, it went down
Marshall?
Marshall. Why would they call it the University if they ran it on Marshall? University goes from downtown to downtown.
Sorry.
Yeah, you should be.
On this day in 1935,
12-9.
tabloid editor Walter W. Liggett was killed by machine gun fire in his Minneapolis home. A crusading reporter, Liggett had ties with right and left wingers, and he was accused of blackmail, and he was an opponent of Governor Floyd B. Olson. Gangster Kid Can, Isidore Blumenfeld, was tried for the crime but found not guilty. So I guess we don't know why tabloid editor Walter Liggett ate so much lead on December 9th,
Didn't
1935.
Kid Can ran a nightclub, did he not?
He might have. I think Sid probably knew him. Well, I don't think Sid was a criminal, but I think he probably knew Kid Can. Maybe he ran the 626 Club where chicken was king on Hennepin? That's where Sid used to do all his meetings for the Lakers.
Club Carnival and the Flame Cafe on Nicollet.
Yeah. All right.
Huh.
And Hennepin was where chicken is king. The 626 Club or something like
Was it
that.
KFC?
No, it was back then. It was they didn't have that then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like a Cane's, a Raising Cane's?
Well, G. Ellers, if you
He lived until 1981, Joe.
Kid Can,
Can't believe that.
Isidore
Wow.
Blumenfeld.
1900 to 1981.
I think with a name like Isidore Blumenfeld, you would have preferred to have been called Kid Can.
Kid Can? Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds cool.
May I share a quick headline with you?
Sure.
The Daily Caller, which I follow on Twitter, I know is a right-leaning publication, but it says, quote, one of America's finest, the Biden administration's gender-fluid spanking enthusiast who allegedly can't stop stealing luggage. Talking about the story you brought
Sure.
up. And then that accompanies someone that had said, imagine trying to explain this to someone 20 years ago. See, here's what's going to happen.
Right. Let me just tell you how it's going to go down.
Here's what's going to happen, Johnny.
We're so bleeped.
In 20 years, you're no longer going to be able to watch the Charlie Brown Christmas.
No, see, because that's too sensitive.
on network
Not
TV.
inclusive enough.
And you'll have a guy in charge of nuclear waste who dresses up like a woman and steals luggage.
Right, see. But that's okay.
It's all right.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Even though it's a felony, nothing will happen to her, him, them.
No, in fact, that person, whether it's an it or whatever it is, it's a they, it's an FU is what it is. That's their pronouns. FU is still getting paid, probably.
Yep.
Kid Can moved to Miami Beach in '64, worked there for mafia financer Meyer Lansky.
Wow.
And acquired a fortune in real estate.
Huh.
He died at Mount Sinai in Minneapolis, June 24, 1981.
How old was he?
When he was visiting. I don't know. You do the math.
Well, I don't know when he was born.
He was 81. He was born in 1900. I can do that math.
Yeah. Kid Can. He lived a long time. Then.
We also have a bit of breaking news courtesy of KSTP.
Yeah.
Former Minneapolis police officer Jay Alexander, is it King?
Yeah.
Has been sentenced to serve 42 months in prison for one count of aiding and abetting second-degree manslaughter stemming from George Floyd's death.
All right.
That just breaking courtesy of KSTP.
Mm-hmm. Well, he was to be sentenced today.
Correct.
All right, GLers, hang in there.
Have a good weekend, GLers. Rook, you mentioned YouTube on Garage Logic.
Yeah, you can subscribe to YouTube, and that is growing. I just saw some numbers from an email that was sent out, and we have been getting a very large audience on social media. So Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Facebook has a lot of followers, so check out the Garage Logic on social media, especially if you want to subscribe on YouTube. And tell someone you know about the town council. I just received an email from a town council member, and he said, where is it? Josh G. said, I just signed up, and this is the greatest thing ever. It's amazing. The live look-ins pre-show and during the breaks are freaking hilarious. Whoever the brain trust was that came up with this idea deserves a raise.
They know about the town council in Vietnam.
Let's do it. Let's
Yeah.
do it.
You could be in Vietnam and be a member of the town council.
Say what?
Uh-huh.
Start a journey, not a fad. Kick off your fitness journey with up to $500 off Peloton Bike, Bike Plus, or Tread packages. Choose the package that will take your training to the next level with accessories like our cycling shoes, heart rate band, non-slip grip dumbbells, and more. Join now and you'll see why 92% of households that start the year with Peloton are still active a year later. All access membership separate. Offer ends January 8th, 2023. Excludes Bike, Bike Plus, and Tread Basics. See additional terms at onepeloton.com.
So I switched to Boost Mobile and got this free Samsung Galaxy A23 5G phone.
Why do you think they call it the Galaxy?
Maybe because the Samsung Galaxy A23 has a huge screen, and galaxies are huge gravitationally bound systems of stars rotating around a supermassive black hole.
And the phone is free?
When you switch to Boost Mobile.
Cool. You lost me at gravitationally bound.
Switch to Boost and get a free Samsung Galaxy A23 5G phone. Boost Mobile. Unleash your power. Limited time offer while supplies last. New customers only. Excludes tax. One device offer per line. Only available on certain networks. 5G not available everywhere. Additional restrictions apply. See your local Boost Mobile store for details.